Going further, let's have a look at this specific code. You remember I started with some simple Python code totally disconnected from Snowflake. Then I continued with some code that we deployed as a Python worksheet and that has been executed as a store proc with a Snowpark session in the virtual warehouse of Snowflake. What we'll do here is we'll add Streamlit. So this will execute as a local Streamlit web application. As you see here at the bottom, at this point, I will pass whatever data I have into a Streamlit data frame on screen. So we'll see this right away. But for now, let's have a look. Just like before, I generate with faker names, addresses, cities, states, and emails. So fake but realistic data, 10,000 rows. I will connect to Snowflake this time. But look, the code as it is very inefficient because I will use simply a Snowpark session here just to create a data frame, a Snowpark data frame with this data. As you can see here, yeah, I can pass a schema and so on. So that's a different way to do it. And yeah, that's not very safe here, but that's a free testing account. So I pass the account name, the username, the password never hard coded. Yeah, just remember it's set as an environment variable. Okay, and I will connect to the test public schema, but this is pure option. Anyway, let's open a terminal here, and this time I will say Streamlit run, and my application is Faker app at Py. And yes, this is what we get on screen. As you look here, that's a local host, that's a local web application using Streamlit. And you get all this data here. Yeah, they are saying showing only 10k rows, but actually just 10k rows have been generated. Anyways, it's just one other way, a messy way, yes, I totally admit it, but that's not the point here, to create an application using Streamlit, using both Snowflake and Streamlit in this case. Switching back to our application, let's just press Control C in the terminal just to stop this application. And going back here, let me close this terminal window because we don't need it anymore. Going back here, you have a faker SIS, which means Streamlit in Snowflake. So we'll have to copy and paste basically this one into a new Streamlit in Snowflake application. I will go to the Streamlit tab, new Streamlit application. Let's call it, I don't know, app 2. Okay. Choose a database, yeah, because we have to select a database. Test public. I have an existing database. The warehouse, because yes, this will create a Streamlit object executed by the computer warehouse in this case. Let's just create this. By default, you will get a test demo file that we don't want here. So I will select everything and replace it with my code. Okay. So I will say run. But you see that, yes, of course, we'll get this problem because Faker is an external package. As you remember before, in Snowpark, in the Python worksheet, we had to reference it. But right here, right now, we don't have this option here. So what we have to do to go back to our file here and to create an environment YAML and to add Faker here. Don't worry, if you're not a programmer, you don't have to remember all this. I try to keep everything very simple and just to create a Streamlit in Snowflake application and just to review to estimate the cost of deploying such a small application, let's say in Snowflake. So for now, just bear with me. We need to do this to create this reference, and then we create this deploy file. So I will create also the test public, and I will create a stage. I will copy the previous file, yeah, the faker SIS in this stage and the environment YAML. because Snowflake will read environment YAML and create this reference, and then we'll create our Streamlit objects. This will be actually you'll see our application. So to do this, I already have everything configured here. So you see here, Snow to be deployed, run this. I will deploy this script with SnowSQL in my connection, which is already configured in the config file. So I'll simply say this. And this will happen fast, but this is good because that's a very short demo with a very simple Streamlit in Snowflake application that you can enhance yourself later on. So here you see I simply list all the Streamlit objects. There is no red text. It's my new Streamlit application. Yeah, that's the one is already here. I will click on this. I will say also edit. Just to open the code. And bear with me because I'm pretty sure right now it will work. And what I do here, just like in the Python worksheet, I will save the 10,000 generated rows in the same customer's fake table. And then you can look here. I will read this table and display it on screen here, as you can see. So that's one other way to do it. And I think you already see the impact here when I run something locally as a client application. First time, no Snowflake connection, no impact, so everything was free. Okay. Second time, I run it, I deployed the code as a Python worksheet. So the Python worksheet code is actually deployed as a wrapper with a store procedure wrapper and executed by Snowflake. So you will incur compute costs. Then I continue creating the local Streamlit application, but this was still connected, as you can see here, still connected to Snowflake, just to get a session and to create a data frame. The cost was limited, but this still incurred the cost because, definitely, just to create locally here some data frames, some rows of data, I had to use Snowpark. It's not very smart, I can tell you, because not very effective. Because, as you remember, I did this before in the Faker demo here. This is very similar without using any Snowflake connection. Okay, and the first time here, what I did, everything here, all this code is deployed in and executed by Snowflake. So you'll incur costs not by querying data or, as you can imagine, table here. This is the equivalent of select everything from customer's fake. Save as table, this could be also, this will translate into CTAS and so on. But you know what's better? It's better to switch here to have a look to monitoring query history, and we'll see what happened. Okay, you can see here execute Streamlit. This is what we did. So our application actually created a Streamlit object, and we executed this Streamlit object. If you look here at the duration, this took about 2 minutes and a half. Our warehouse was up for 2 minutes and a half, and this is what you pay for nothing else. In this case, you may pay for some data if you generate 2 billion rows. The advantage is that, yes, definitely the code is closer to data, and when you generate in real life, let's say 2 billion rows, you already dump all this in the data that is close to you. Otherwise, through the network, it will take an eternity, and you may incur, I don't know, traffic costs and so on. But what's interesting to remember here is that everything, the code is encapsulated into a Streamlit object, and this Streamlit object is actually executed. Estimate cost impact of Streamlit in Snowflake and native applications. That's the architecture diagram of Streamlit in Snowflake application, also known as SIS. So basically, you have everything in a Snowflake account. Everything is deployed in a Snowflake account. As you can see here, the Python files are uploaded into a name stage. This could be done transparently. And from the name stage, they will create a Streamlit object, which Streamlit object will be later deployed and executed in a Python sandbox as a web server. And yes, Streamlit is actually using Snowpark, the Snowpark API. So that's another way to do it. And yes, you can create and deploy and execute rich applications this way. Because in the Python code, you can reference also external packages. And a lot of these libraries are included and already deployed. Just double check the Anaconda packages because you have dozens of libraries that you don't have to upload yourself. You just have to reference them. Snowflake native applications are extensions, if you want to the secure data share. In the secure data share, you share data with consumers, with other accounts, through essentially secure functions and secure views. Here, your Streamlit object will be deployed also into another different account. What's interesting, if you are a provider, you will consume some other account's credit. If you are a consumer, you will consume your own compute credits. That's a warning here because you'll see in the marketplace also any free native application will cost you money because it will execute into your own Snowflake account. It will consume your own compute, your own warehouse. As an example, you already have, such a Snowflake native application as the Snowflake applications that comes already installed for any free trial account, and it remains there. It is specifically through the account uses schema, you can see your metadata. And be aware, yes, I know it is your metadata, but it is expensive to browse. Streamlit is Snowflake, yes, can be seen as a wrapper around Python code. As I was saying before, a Streamlit object is created, which is deployed and executed as a store procedure, yeah, basically in your warehouse. Just be aware that as long as you have the application on screen, it will keep your warehouse up. As long as the application is used by you or by someone else, this risks to become very expensive because, yeah, as long as a warehouse is up and as well as you use an application, you consume credits. The application goes to sleep when the warehouse is automatically suspended, but this means that you no longer did anything with your application there. Most Streamlit web applications, yeah, local web applications, can be easily deployed as Streamlit in Snowflake applications, and we've seen an example of a deploy script when I executed with SnowSQL. You have other alternatives here to Streamlit in Snowflake. You have native apps if you want to share applications between different Snowflake accounts. You have the new container services and so on.